Hello everyone, it's Animation4. Welcome back to some more Omnifactory. And I did it. I did what I said I wasn't going to do for a long time. The eagle-eyed amongst you might realize that you have eagle eyes in your eye sockets, but everyone else might notice that I changed this cable. This is now Signalum. We are running Signalum energy conduits as our main conduit now. There it is. That's actually a two-step upgrade. From our end steel, which was 32. Lumium would have been next, but I went straight to Signalum. And I actually didn't do everything. So I kind of cheated a bit. So everything in here is actually still on end steel. Everything in here actually has been on vibrant alloy this whole time. Over here, we have Lumium being run, but also end steel to all that stuff. So I kind of have it in like tiers, and I made some of these Signalum energy cells in between to handle the distribution. So like this one line coming in is being split out to 4 end steel lines, but I also need a line straight to that. And this Lumium is broken out from Signalum from in here. Here. I got 3 Signalum lines. I should add another one. Or 3 Lumium lines from 1 Signalum line. So it should all work fine. If not, oops. But the big thing is I do have some machines that are starting to take up more power. And that's important because I need to start using them with all that power. Case in point, blast furnace up here. Oh, I didn't get the new... Ooh, Naquada. I actually have enough Naquada for this. Let's just do this. What could go wrong? So we're going to start making some draconium. And draconium requires nitro diesel and a vacuum freezer with gelid cryothium. So, I don't even have the bucket of stuff. I'm so prepared. I spent so long getting the cable swapped out that I didn't actually do the stuff I needed to do here. So, you export nitro diesel. So you get nitro diesel in here. And then I have this crafting cryothium dust, sending it to here to be extracted into molten cryothium. So the vacuum freezer, which is now on IV, is cryothiumized because although this uses just a vacuum freezer to cool down, it uses a 1200 EU per tick vacuum freezer, which is EV at least. And I also upgraded this to LUV, which could not have lasted at all on the end steel that was here before. So we got straight Signalum lines to this. We'll just like see what happens. Let's drop one of these in here, and nothing's happening. Sodium dust, nitro diesel, 65536. Oh, because I didn't do that. Right. This is the whole like first stopper thing. I gotta upgrade this to a Naquada coil blocks. Just like that, it's going. How long's it taken? That's actually pretty quick. So I think it's going to dump it back into the system. It did. Grab up the hot draconium. Let's filter it here. Don't let it out. Let's dump it in here. This will cool it down using the cryothium, then make some more. Instead of like telling it to make it every time, let's just have it constantly made. And just like that, 1 draconium ingot. So now I just got to set up the recipe that'll do this automatically. Pretty straightforward. One of these becomes one of these. Easy. And that's draconium. Oops. Almost there. So now, finish up the crystal circuits, and also can head towards stuff over here. I guess the tier 7 microminer is the other thing we're doing. Yeah. Something like that. We'll figure it out. So now we get to tangent a tiny bit. Just a little tiny bit. We got the draconium. We are going towards tier 7, so we can do end game stuff with Dragon Hearts and going towards Neutronium. We also got to take a step back here to get to the final, or the first tier 8 circuits, and finish up this blue line of circuits. To step back here, the crystal processor array takes the draconium plates, which we now have, easy boards, and the big thing it takes that we don't have is this HPIC, high-powered integrated circuit. Cut it from a cutting saw, and here's the step where it all falls apart. The wafer itself is easy enough to make. You take glowstone or Naquata-doped wafers with a blue lens. Simple enough. It's this step. Red alloy we got. It's indium gallium phosphide, which is, of course, indium plus gallium plus phosphorus for indium gallium phosphide. Simple enough. Phosphorus we got. Gallium we got. Indium we do not. How do you get indium? What about that? It's really not easy, turns out. One indium ends up becoming 3 indium gallium phosphide, but you can only get indium, as far as I could tell, from tiny piles of indium dust, which you make. You don't mine, you physically produce it in a chemical reactor. 4 aluminum and indium concentrate becomes a tiny pile of indium dust and some byproducts I don't really care about at all. Aluminum we got 40,000 aluminum dust. Indium concentrate we don't. And that's very specifically sulfuric acid, purified galena, and purified sphalerite in a chemical reactor. So we're going to set something up to automate this. The purified ores are just, you pulverize it, then you put it through an ore washer. You get the purified ore. So one line of that for sphalerite, one line of that for galena. We need some sulfuric acid. Combine it with aluminum, and then produce the big dust, and we can just keep it as indium dust. So we're going to do that. I have all the parts we need. We just need space, and I figured this has something remotely to do with fluids, so we'll do it up here in the fluid ceiling, fluid attic, where we've done rocket fuel stuff before. And this line's been sitting dry since I haven't put any salt in it, nor do we need much rocket fuel right now. So, how are we thinking? I want to do something similar like this, where it's like 2 sides, but I don't know what should go on each side. I guess like a side for sphalerite and a side for the other one, galena, and they just get combined. So it's actually not that much stuff we need here. So let's look at this. We have all these machines. Don't need these right now. We need to pulverize the thing first. Then we need to ore wash it. Do that on both sides. I have how much space in between? I want to keep consistent. 3 blocks in between. So pulverize, and then ore wash. They get combined into a chemical reactor, which also needs sulfuric acid. So we'll put a chemical reactor here to make sulfuric acid, the chemical reactor here to combine all of them to get the indium stuff. It's going to get straight into this one. And I think that's it. I think that should work. We'll put a CEF here and a CEF here with, I have all the things. End steel cables. I may not have enough end steel cables. 7. Yeah. Need 2 more. Like that. And then this stuff I'll put in manually. The ores I'll be putting in manually, but everything else I will just import from the system. This would be the galena side. Give me back my wrench. This would be the... stop! It's so confusing when it does this. Okay, this will be the sphalerite side. And I need some interfaces. Probably just one. Probably enough. And then we just gotta wire it up. This is pretty easy. I think we have a functioning system. I really don't know. I had issues with stuff not being sent around properly, but I think those are all resolved. So we're just gonna wing it and see what happens. So let's grab some sphalerite, maybe 3 stacks worth. We do get 4 per sphalerite, 4 crushed ore per sphalerite, and only 2 per galena. So we need to process twice as much galena as we do sphalerite. But I don't care about the byproducts of these at all. Like, you get yellow garnet dust from this, which has calcium, iron, silicon, oxygen, aluminum, and chrome, but like in super small quantities. So don't really care. I'm going to put void upgrades on these eventually. Just want to see if it works right now. And so far it seems to be. It produces the indium concentrate, sends it over here. The lead zinc solution, I'm just trashing because it's lead, silver, zinc, and sulfur. Like, I don't care about any of that. I really don't. So, yeah, just trash it. And the indium ends up over here. Once it gets 9 of them, it produces a full indium. We have 2. We've produced 2 whole indium dust. It's so purple. It's such a cool purple color. And I chose a wonderful block to put it in because you can't see it at all. I thought it looked nice, but it just blends in. You can barely see the dust in there. But this will process away. I think this will start backing up eventually, but don't really care. It'll just keep going through. Now we can start working on the new circuits. I did put in a thing for Naquada doped bolules. I did put in a craft recipe before. 81 silicon to make it, but it should know how at this point. It takes argon, which this blast furnace does have. Keeps it stocked. It keeps itself stocked with argon. And it takes 1 Naquada, which we do have. Not a ton of, but it only takes 1. And this gives you 64 wafers, as opposed to like the 32 you get from glowstone. And also, I think some things require it. So, now that I'm just about done stalling for time as it cooks away, it should be just about ready to export these once it crafts 5 more ingots. And green, we got a green light. Takes a little bit of time. Even on LUV, 65,536 EU per tick, it's still processing this slow. Yikes. Aha, there it is. It's in the system now. Naquada doped bolules. Gives you a whole stack. Need to put it in a better cutting saw, which I don't think I have. So we take our wafers, put them in a laser engraver with a blue lens, and that'll give us the power wafers, 4 each for the Naquada. Power IC wafers. Take these. We need 2 of the indium gallium phosphides and 2 red alloys per. So I guess we'll make 16. So we need 32 red alloys. And 32 indium gallium phosphide, which would be 11 indium. Let's see how this is processing over here. We're up to 17. Very nice. That's backed up. That is churning away. Looks like the thing holding us down is actually sulfuric acid. I'm fine with that. I don't need it to go super fast. As long as it's processing, it's fine. So red alloys still going. I didn't actually pick up the thing while I'm over here. Can you tell I'm not super focused right now? So I got 11 of this. We need to get more phosphor. Phosphor is a pain in the butt to actually get. Because you have to take the phosphor ore. And to get the phosphorus, you need to electrolyze 5-phosphate, which you get from the ore. No, this is phosphor. You take the phosphor, you get it down into phosphor dust, you electrolyze it to get the phosphate. Yeah, a lot of steps. A lot of steps. There's our phosphorus. 11 of it. Almost there. There it is. And 11 gallium. I just did another load of gallium too. I went mining and everything. 1, 2, 3. Indium gallium phosphide. Melt down our 32 red alloys. Toss the spider webs I keep getting in my inventory. Actually, it's usually spider eyes. Fixed it. What are these? Right? I don't cut these. They go right in the chemical reactor. Yes. Along with not 300 millibuckets of water. We go down, go to our fast reactor here. These. It still takes a really long time. It'd take a minute at a EV speed. So yeah, it takes a bit. And that will make a total of 16 high-powered wafers, which will produce 32 HPICs. And these are like super late game circuits, like fusion controllers use a stack of them. We only need one for right now, so it wasn't actually that hard to make these. Now that we have the general stuff in place, which is good. But this should be the last thing we need to get the second tier 7 circuits, I think is what we're going for. These things. Yeah. And you should be good to go to this, like, right away. Oh, wow, that still takes a really long time. Because that takes at least an IV compressor. Dang. All right. Good thing we got the better compressors. So this should be everything we need. And it's going. It's running perfectly. And of course we have to make 2 of these in order to produce the mainframe. Then you have to produce 2 mainframes. So this is 1/4 of what we need. But at the very least, it's a quest. There it is. And 3 more. Don't mind if I do. Except I messed something up, apparently. I think I forgot the boards. Ha. Got it. So now going to the next one, we get to finally use some HSSE. I already made some of this stuff. It's actually somehow cheaper than the original HSSG, because 6 HSSG becomes 9 of this stuff. So you save on the HSS with just some cheap silicon, cobalt, and manganese. So I like this stuff a little better. This should be everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Should have everything we need for this, unless there's like some fluid. Nope, just soldering alloy, which it should have plenty of. Yes. Just do the first one. And it's going. I haven't even been looking at the power requirements for these, and I think at some point we're going to start running into issues where we need more power, like 122k EU per tick. But I think by the time we get to there, we have upgraded our power again. Who knows? There it is. The crystal processor mainframe. The first tier 8 circuits, of which there are 2. Let's throw this in. Make the second one. We are now up to UV circuits. Just like that. I guess that's not really an achievement. ZPM machine hulls are made of iridium. That's fun. At least it's not iridium alloys. And we'll be using that to make the ZPM assembly machine. And this is the stuff that we needed to make Teflon for. Did I show on stream that I made some? I made some. I made 17 buckets. It's really not a lot, but we have some. Alright. Next steps. We're gonna need to start at least somewhat auto-crafting Teflon. And it's a few steps. It's actually less steps than I came into it thinking it was. I thought it was gonna be like as bad as like resin and what was the other bad one? Rocket fuel was kind of annoying. But there are still some of these yellow spots, which means I am not auto-producing some of these things and need to kind of supply the line manually with whatever it needs. So let's look at this. We have the polytetrafluoroethylene, the Teflon down here. That's the goal. It is made up of, well, there's a few ways to make it actually. And this has been true for a lot of the poly things. You can combine it with air and you get the thing at a 1-to-1. You can combine it with oxygen and get the thing at a 1-to-1.5, so you get a 50% bonus. You can combine it with titanium tetrachloride and air to get, again, 1.5. Or you can combine it with titanium tetrachloride and oxygen to get a 2x output. This is assuming we want to combine it with the latter, titanium tetrachloride and oxygen. We can simplify it if we need to. We'll see how complicated this gets, but we'll see. I have a lot of rutile, so I'm not too worried about that. So we have the titanium tetrachloride here, the base tetrafluoroethylene here, and oxygen here. Oxygen we have plenty of. Carbon we have plenty of. That's how you get the titanium tetrachloride, by the way. Rutile we have a lot of, but not auto-produced. And chlorine we do not auto-produce either, so that's another thing. We need a salt processor for this to get the chlorine out. So rutile and salt are products that I need to manually supply. To get the tetrafluoroethylene, these are big words, we need hydrofluoric acid and chloroform. Chloroform is methane, which we are auto-producing in a few places, and chlorine, which is again salt production. So if we have to get the chlorine anyway, so that kind of is why that's not going to be so bad. We're making chlorine anyway, and you really don't use a lot of that stuff, and that'll make the chloroform pretty easy. The hydrofluoric acid, hydrogen we got plenty of. And the last one is fluorine. Fluorine is actually, I mentioned this before, it's kind of a pain to get. There's no real easy thing to do. What I've been doing is, I think, lepidolite is what I've been processing. I got this from this ore, which I think I got alongside some salts. Well, you can get it this way, but I mined like 800 blocks of it when I think I was mining salt of some kind. But I had a few hundred lepidolite that I processed down into fluorine. You really don't get a lot, but I had a lot of lepidolite, so I have like 200 buckets of fluorine. That's still going to be the limiting factor. I don't know what to do about that, except just accept that that's what's going to be hard here. But it's really that simple. I did put the machines down because I'm pretty sure everything's a chemical reactor at this point. And that'll get us the Teflon. Yeah. It's just that. I don't know what else to say. It's that easy, I guess, ish. One more little thing I want to do here before we wrap up is with this assembly line. Take this. Because I made another. We now have a smaller assembly line specifically for making conveyor belts and things that use configuration 1 circuits. And this will be everything else along with things that need configuration 2. So I can actually just take this, which doesn't have the circuit in it, drop it in here with those. And it should just work. I just had to plug in the fluids because I realized I forgot to do that. But that should handle all of our assembly line needs at this point. Until we get to, I think the only thing I couldn't do were the really high level field generators. And those require like 14 long assembly lines anyway, I think was the biggest. And that was 12, which this current one is only 11 inputs, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so anything would require expanding on this anyway. So let's finish up here with the pistons. These, oops, gotta craft the things. Gotta craft 2 of the things. Oh, I'm out of stuff. I'm out of formation cores. You get the point. And then once we have this, it should be pretty easy to just automate the new things. Because what we're going for now is the advanced assembly machine with our 2 tier 8s, like we did before. Takes ZPM, uses HSSE. Pretty straightforward. We're just going to do that. But we're going to do that next time. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.